Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is episode 135 of Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane.
And I'm Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to be doing a little bit of a rip-roaring show tonight. We got to cut a little bit early, so we're going to fly through some things. We do have Eric Kleinschmidt from the Acme Army Packers Podcast joining us at 6 o'clock. So we're going to try and fly through all of the headlines before then, and he will pretty much round out the show with the DDOE, of course, being the last thing we do. So we'll probably be out of here like 6:40-ish. So bear with us as we get this thing going. Chad, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing freaking fantastic.
Good.
Yes.
Good to hear, man.
It's been a busy week, but tell me about yours.
Like the weekend?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
Tell me all about
it.
it.
Let's jump right into it, man. That last weekend, it was a blast. Friday night, we are getting ready for the 28 Years Later movie. So they finally put the 28 weeks put 28 weeks and days up on streaming.
Oh, yeah.
It has been a mystery over the last 10 plus years why 28 Days Later wasn't on any streaming service. The only way you could do it was old school by DVD.
You gotta go rent it, which you can't do anymore.
No. Order it on DVD if you have a DVD player, and I don't. So
get in touch with Redbox to get that DVD sent to you.
So they finally put it up there. So we did double 28 weekdays and weeks, and that was a good time. Zombie night, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what we did Friday. And then Saturday, let's see, what did we do Saturday? Oh, I just got the yard mowed and did a bunch of yard work, and then we played a bunch of cards, got nice and buzzed. We celebrated what she's calling it. We kind of had a funny way of putting it. I think you might have saw it on Instagram. Entering the 7th season of our relationship.
Yeah, when did it start, actually?
Yeah. So it was June 2nd when we met, and we just basically call it like that because it was pretty much right after we met. We were attached to the hip, and we really didn't have a
anymore. It's hard to be there's not really official dates anymore. It's just things kind of happen, and then all of a sudden you're together.
Right, that's pretty much it. She was not one to play around with are you seeing anybody else or anything like that. The moment she met me, she was like, "You're locked down. You're mine."
Yeah.
So that's fine with me.
Chastity belt installed.
And pretty much 4 out of the 7 years that we've had these anniversaries, we've gone to Odyssey over there at
Odyssey Beer Works.
What?
Oh, never mind. I thought there's an Odyssey Beer Works, and I just thought that
like
was
a brewery.
Yeah, I just thought that's where you went. I was like, all right, Odyssey Beer Works. I know that place well.
Nice. If you like Italian, go to the Italian restaurant. Because,
okay.
Yeah, it's that place right there on 6th and Pearl, kind of around our old stomping grounds. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's in an old house. The family's been here in Denver for 60 plus years. Amazing Italian food.
Okay.
Yep. So that worked out, and then Sunday, we just had a blast pretty much the whole weekend. We just had a lot of good fun.
Nice. That's good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Rip roaring weekend. Yeah. We had a little bit of the same going on. We got that new couch last week, and that was it was fun to get a new couch, but it was definitely hectic getting it into the house.
I bet so.
And set up and stuff. But that's been nice. Friday we just kind of hung out. But Saturday, I worked a little bit of the day because I had to go mark a job. But then we went to one of the guys I used to work with, Pepe, my work dad. We went to his son's a dance company he started called Artistico, and they do it's a lot of Mexican folklore dancing. But they were putting on a big thing at the Buell Theater. And so we went down there, and there was a VIP thing, and so we got tacos and drinks.
Oh, that's cool, man.
It was pretty cool, and they put on a good show. We did not stay the whole time. We got there at 5:30, and then it was 9 o'clock, and the second show was just starting.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm tired and I want to go home. And the dogs have been locked up, so that's always an excuse to get out of things. The dogs have been locked up for like 5 hours, so
dude, that anytime it gets longer than like 5 or 6, we're like, okay, it's time to go.
yeah, exactly. That's a long time to be out and about. That's a long event.
Oh yeah,
and that's like going to a football game.
Pretty much. After that, that's why it was nuts hearing our one guest recently talking about like going to 3 in a day. It's like,
it's too much.
If I had, with my dogs, that's just impossible.
Even if I had the means, I don't think I'd do it. It's just too much.
Yeah, I just get too tired.
And then Sunday we did practice on Sunday because someone had something going on yesterday. But then we went to Casa Bonita.
Whoa!
First time.
Did you really?
Since it's been back.
Holy cow! Taco flavored kisses.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's not worth it to me.
I know. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. Like it was $40 per plate, and that includes like your soft drink and sopapillas. But like at the end of the day, dude, I got like a taco plate, like a 3 taco plate.
That's it.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then you get the sopapillas and stuff, but I'm just like.
And what about like all of the new decorations and stuff they've got?
There's not a ton of new stuff that I noticed. I feel like they revamped everything. I mean, it's still a good time. I do feel like if you had kids, it would be a lot cooler because then like all that stuff's included. Like I think in the $40, like the face painting was included.
Okay.
And like all this other stuff. But then it's kind of like Dave and Buster's where you got to load a card to play like any of the games.
Oh, I hate that, dude.
And then you're left with a card with like $4 on it for the rest of your life.
Dude, the first time I went to Dave and Buster's, I was like, this is like an adult Chuck E. Cheese. Like, this is so dumb.
Pretty much.
No way. Why would I want to pay to play games and spend $50 to get a basketball that I could spend $10 on?
Yeah. If you look I've seen videos of people looking online and like finding the toys and shit that they have at like Dave and Buster's. And it's like a $2 stuffed toy, and then like to get it you have to spend like $60.
It's so dumb, man. I swear the first time I went I was like, and the drinks and food are stupid expensive.
I mean, at least Dave and Buster's, like there's decent food and you can kind of I mean, there's options at least. It's not so much where it's like there isn't that many options there. There's like a burrito, there's tacos, there's enchiladas, there's chicken enchiladas, some nachos. Like there wasn't that many things. And I get why, because they have to like, there's just so many people coming in there. It was like a madhouse in there.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. Well, at least you can say you've done it.
Yeah. It would, like I said, I think if you had a chitlin or something, it'd be a really good time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you? What's the name of that Mexican restaurant that you've talked about before that you and your sister went to?
Oh, Casa del Rey.
Do you think it's worth it? Because so what we did is like we went and had Italian because that's her favorite, and then this Friday, or I think it's like next Friday, we're gonna go to this like sports bar at the Gaylord. That's like that super fucking sick one.
Yeah,
it's got like 70-foot TVs. For like kind of what I want.
Who owns that? Or like what's the,
it's called Mountain Pass Sports Bar.
Oh, Mountain Pass.
But the other option was like, I want to finally, because I'm tired of El Jardín. They went way downhill.
They just ruined it for you.
And you think if like Casa del Rey is good, like I want some really good Mexican. It
was pretty good, but like I said, they changed ownership, so it wasn't like what we remember.
Yeah.
But
that's a bummer, dude. I had a Gomez burrito this morning.
It's not too far away though. That's the nice thing. Over there off Washington.
Yeah, and it's probably one of the best ones I've ever had.
I'm gonna have to go back there and give it a try because I've still just been going to Rico's.
Oh yeah,
Rico's is my jam.
It's very different. The Rico's,
but I like Gomez. The bacon. You didn't like the bacon at Rico's. So.
Well, it's like the sauce too. Like the green chili there just kind of has like this different taste. I don't know. Okay. I like Gomez, but
you like the flavor.
Like, they're just to each their own.
Yeah, to each their own.
But
other than that, man, work's been busy. Just getting through it, just living the life, making it, as they say.
That's right, man. Chipping away,
chipping away slowly towards death,
or success,
success. Yes,
try to look at
glass half full, glass half empty.
There you go.
Well, let's get into some headlines.
Get your headlines here.
That's right. We got to fly through them. So we're going to get into the NFL right freaking now.
Are you ready for some football?
You better be. We don't got that much this week.
It's football, bro.
No, that's why I'm like, we don't have to like super rush through it, just because we don't have a lot anyway.
That's true.
It's all good.
But I was trying to get through all of it before we get him on, so we'll see where we
Whatever's clever, man. All right.
So take it away.
Yeah, Frank Ragnow. This one really shocked me. Only
Yeah.
29 years old. He has dealt with some kind of serious injuries before. Retired the center for the Detroit Lions. They have kind of had a plan B in place. I think last year, he maybe have like hinted at it because they had drafted a guy out of Georgia, really stud lineman. I think he was a guard or something at Georgia.
Yeah.
And he's now been playing center at OTAs.
Okay.
But Frank Ragnow, man, he's the definition of tough. He is the one, if you can remember, he played a game and broke his neck and still didn't allow a sack.
Yeah, you don't need a neck to not allow sacks.
You got to use your hands. Come on.
Who needs a neck, man?
Nope.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We've been seeing that though more and more in the more recent years. These
With
linemen, centers, linemen in general. I think they're just like
Whitworth was kind of early.
yeah,
maybe.
I mean, he's still like early. Well, I think he made it to his mid-30s.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's
back
been
in
a
the day,
few
dude.
in the last like couple years that are like late 20s that are calling it quits. But I get it, man. Those guys are, they basically said it's like a car accident every play. So it's a lot. It takes a toll on the body, so to speak.
Yeah, so that's going to be a big hole for the Lions to fill. We'll see if that new lineman can
fill that
those
hole.
shoes.
Yes. In other news, going to the Super Bowl winners, Saquon Barkley to be the cover athlete of the Madden 26 game coming out here in a few months. The reverse hurdle will be featured. I saw a cool video of them filming it, and like he had to reenact it for them to get the picture. And I don't know if they used wires or if he can just
use
jump.
wires.
I was gonna say he jumped really high. It was just like whoosh.
The first day,
and I was like, he could jump that good. I mean, he did this in real life.
He just did it so easily. And the first day, they just kind of showed that. And then the next day, it came out, and he was like, wow, I give a lot of credit to guys like Peter Parker or Tom Holland for being able to do all these stunts in the movies because they're just getting pulled around by these suspension wires. And so they showed the video of the wires kind of pulling him up.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I looked at it, I was like, he jumps really easily.
But did you see the number of games, like running backs? Because there's only been like 3 or 4 running backs in the last like 25 years to be on the cover.
Peyton Hillis, I think, was the last
Peyton
one.
Hillis, I think he only played 4 games the next year.
Yeah.
Sean Alexander, who was the MVP, he
Yeah.
only played 10 games. Barry Sanders a few years ago,
man.
he played 0 games after that.
Yeah.
Because he's
He was
retired.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mean after he was retired?
But probably played 0
But, I mean,
backyard
if
games.
he was playing, yeah, he wouldn't at all.
His kids were like, "Yeah, let's go play." I was like, I got the Madden curse.
But they did. I just saw this today too. They turned the iconic South Philly cheesesteak mecca, Geno's Philly cheesesteaks, into Steakwans.
Oh, that's cool.
In honor of the Madden cover, and they like actually put like they changed like the whole facade of
Holy
the building
shit,
and stuff.
damn.
I'm sure it's only temporary, but still, it's
I was
pretty
gonna
cool.
say, it's like, what happens when he leaves?
It's fine. He'll be gone next year.
No one running backs,
just like
man.
they just leave it up there. Like you have to keep it that way now for the rest of the time.
He did get him a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's true. That's what he was paid for.
All right.
So yeah, and then the last thing we really got in the NFL headlines, and I don't know if you saw this video with the pink cocaine.
Yeah, it went super. The pink unidentified substance.
Yeah.
With so for casuals out there that aren't aware, Stephon Diggs missed the first day of Patriots OTAs because he was on a boats and hoes, partying with 3 other models, and then there was this pink substance kind of seen in the video, and I don't know. There's been kind of rumors that the Patriots might cut him.
I thought he came out and said, like, why can't I dole out pink cocaine to the hoes or something like that?
Maybe he did. I don't know.
Like, I mean, I guess that's true. I mean, it's if you're not doing it, why can't you give it out?
That's a good point. I mean,
you're still giving out an illicit
probably,
substance. So
yeah, because if you've looked up what it is, I mean, we're probably going to get flagged on YouTube just for talking about this. But it's a mixture of a lot of bad stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
I just thought it was really good, like some sort of crazy purified cocaine. Like
Think about
only
when
rich
you're a
people
kid
can get.
No, that's not it at all.
Yeah.
So if you
Dang.
were a kid and you went to like a gas station and you wanted to get all of the sodas,
No,
that's pretty
yeah.
much the analogy of
Oh,
it.
nice. That's
Yeah.
cool. It's like a suicide.
Exactly.
Well, don't say that. We're gonna get flagged for that. It's an unalive.
Yeah. Gotta watch them words.
Yeah, and they'll get you in trouble. But yeah, that's about it for the NFL. I don't think there's really anything else happening.
OTAs have been going on.
OTAs are happening.
One thing I wanted to bring up was just kind of like a quick daily dog because
I did see this.
yeah, it is pretty cool. So last year, I think it was the Daily Dose of Excellence, or maybe I think it was the Daily Dog during football season. I did Jamal Jackson. He's the running back for my alma mater high school. I guess I can call that if I like my high school, like alma mater.
Yeah, it is your
whatever.
alma mater.
Yeah,
I mean-
pretty much. I don't know if they only use that for college or not.
We'll use it now.
I did graduate. But yeah, Labette County, this guy, Jamal Jackson, their star running back, ran track this year and just shattered records in the 100-meter. And over the last weekend, broke the record for the 100-meter. I can't remember the number for it, but it was just barely over 10, of course. And he won state. So hats off to him, Jamal Jackson.
Yeah, you're a daily dog. Let me hit it real quick. Oh, wait, I can't find it. Oh, no!
Pull that daily dogs out.
Dude, the guy, like, I think, even if he doesn't go D1 or anything like that, I think is going to have a really good, like, collegiate career because you just see those guys that are just, like, built for football, and he's that fast. Like, he really, because he's kind of small. He's almost like more of like the Bashard Smith that we drafted, kind of like a small, fast running back, but he's got those legs where it goes up to his thighs, and it's just like Saquon. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, God
Just
damn,
like tree
dude.
trunks all of a sudden.
They're made to be a running back.
It says he tied the state meet record at 10.65 seconds set by Bueller's Jordan Hawkins in 2019. And that was in the Kansas the fastest man in the Kansas for the Class 4A. So,
Oh, okay. I thought he
Hats
broke
off.
it. Well,
well, either way, I mean,
Yeah.
you're getting to that point
You
now
hit-
where
you
I'm
tied
like,
the
are we
record.
going to be able to beat much more of these records, or are we just going to hit that like we're like can't go any faster? I don't know.
These kids are getting faster and faster.
It is crazy.
I saw another really cool one from Kansas two-way state championships where this small school, I can't remember their name, it was like the relay, where there's like 4 racers going
Yeah.
through, and one of them, this kid broke his wrist by diving for the finish line to get first. They got first, and he shattered his wrist, but he still wanted to take a picture, so he had the medal over it and everything.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Jamal Jackson being from LCHS, I would
he'll have
chosen
mine
him.
right there. you
Yeah,
know, he
I
can
thought
take
that was
mine.
cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, let's get into the NBA.
Let's hit it.
Middle of Magic, right side to Scott. Slam dunk. 4 seconds. 3 seconds left. Why are they not fouling? Jumper Murray. Denver bounce.
Come on. I'm burning.
It's finally here. We have reached the NBA Finals.
Coming up on Thursday.
Yes, and I just saw this come across before we started. The Pacers' flight to Oklahoma City has been diverted due to a tornado warning.
Oh, wow. There was a
So-
tornado right over Arrowhead today, too.
Oh, really? That's
Man,
crazy.
it's the weather for it for sure.
Yeah, we're right there in the thick of it, and
Man,
especially right there where you are in the thick of
Yep.
it.
The thunder.
The thunder.
Oh, yeah.
But in other news,
I did not realize they were this big of favorites.
Oh yes,
Wow.
Yeah, the Thunder are heavily favored to win the finals. They are at minus 750 to win, which basically means you have to bet $750 to win $100.
Yep.
So those odds are stacked against the Pacers. But I do think the Pacers, I mean, these are the 2 deepest teams.
I don't think they're going to get swept.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I mean, if anything, it might be a gentleman's sweep in 5,
It
but
might be.
we'll see. I mean, the Pacers kind of shocked the Knicks, so to speak. And Tom Thibodeau lost his job today because of it.
That's shocking, man. We'll get to that. I just want to finish a little bit more on this finals. I really do think the Pacers do match up well with them because their style of play, they don't really even run plays. They just basically hustle and run fast basketball. That matches up well with a really young Thunder team, I think. I
Yeah,
think that can kind of shock them because the Thunder's been used to playing half-court ball with the Timberwolves, and then sometimes that's what sucks is like the Nuggets were great fast break team all year, and then they just kind of petered out. There
yeah, a
towards the
little
end.
bit. But I mean, and the thing too is the Thunder are good at taking away your best guy. But the thing about Halliburton is he's very good at kind of like Jokic in a sense, but the Pacers are a lot deeper than the Nuggets. He's able to take his shots when he needs to, but if not, he's totally fine just getting his assists
Yeah.
and kind of feeling how the game goes throughout. So I do think that's also going to be a little bit of a test for the Thunder, who are used to just being able to like take somebody away. But I think Halliburton's kind of one of those guys who can, even though they're taking something away, he will make them pay somewhere else.
Well, that, and it's like if they try to take away Halliburton, then you got Siakam right there, who has championship experience. He got a ring in Toronto, so
That's very true. And I watched a video, I think it was before this season, where it was the Pacers at like training camp. And Siakam was talking to the guys about like what it's going to take to like we got all the way to finals last year, and he's like, it's going to take like more to get where we want to be, and like really locking the guys in. And I also thought it was pretty funny. I don't know if you saw this, but Halliburton totally thought he was getting that MVP.
that was hilarious, dude.
He's just
That
like,
was great.
yeah, like starts walking through, and they're like Piasco Siakam, and I said that right. And yeah, just to watch Halliburton, like, oh yeah,
whoops.
they're like still
Yeah.
trying to be like, yeah.
Then he kind of waked up for it because then he made sure he got a picture with both trophies there in the
Yeah.
locker room. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I really hope the Pacers win. I'd love to see an upset. There's a lot of talk that this is probably going to be the most the lowest rated watched finals in probably.
I mean, they
25
said that
years.
about the Nuggets and the Heat, and a lot of people still watched it. I think people are still going to tune in. I think especially just seeing that there isn't really, I mean, aside from like SGA and Halliburton, like the storylines I think are a little bit more compelling than people are leading it on to be. But yeah, I mean, I do think there are going to be a little bit of a hit here when it comes to the ratings.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I mean,
that's
you think
kind
of
of
the
been-
market, man.
yeah.
Indiana, like it's just not a lot of people there.
Yeah, they got no coastal teams.
Yeah.
At least against the Nuggets, they had Miami, even though people in Miami really don't care about the Miami Heat. But
Yeah. I am
so-
happy to see the Pacers there, though. It's nice to see not a New York or Boston or LA team in it.
Yeah, I mean that is a nice thing. We've talked about it now. We are not going to have a repeat winner in 7 straight years. So the parity is rampant now. So in other news in the NBA, the Suns head coaching search is coming to an end. They've narrowed it down to 2 Cavs finalists, associate coach Johnny Bryant and assistant Jordan Ott. The new GM Brian Gregory's extensive head coach search is almost over, and it's both coming from the Cavaliers coaching tree. So apparently what they've done there is leading to more guys getting jobs because of it. So
Sweet.
but
Nice.
yeah, game 1 Thursday in Oklahoma City at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Make sure to tune into that one as the finals kickoff.
Should be good.
Yes, and
I sure hope so.
deedly doodly, they
Come
better.
on, Pacers.
Yeah, let's go Pacers.
Yeah.
Let's get into the NHL real quick. Well, we are at the final as well, the Stanley Cup final. And right before it, Panthers captain and forward Alexander Barkov wins the Selke Trophy for Best Defenseman for the 2nd straight year, and he also wins the King Clancy Memorial Trophy for the player that best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice.
Wow.
So hats off to him, as a lot of people are kind of favoring the Panthers, it seems, this year, heading into the finals, or the final, I'm sorry. Edmonton has not won since 1990 was the last time they won the Stanley Cup.
Probably with Gretzky, huh?
I believe he was on that team with Messier.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of an uphill battle. The Panthers are in a spot right now where they are better than they were last year when they won it. And the next 3 years, they have the most cap space over the next 3 years. So they're just going to keep getting better and better. Like right now, it's like, look, Florida is plus 27 in goal differential through 17 games after finishing at plus 11 last season. They are scoring more, 3.88 goals a game, and giving up less at 2.29 goals a game. At 5-on-5, they've gone from 2.39 goals per 60 minutes last season to 3.53 per 60 this season. Their power play is up, and the Oilers are struggling on the penalty kill. The Oilers, while they are better than last year, they are struggling closing out games. They were -6 in the third period last postseason. They are plus 11 this season through 16 games. The only downgrade year over year, like I just mentioned, is their penalty kill, which has given up 16 goals in 16 games, while it gave up 4 in 25 games last season. Edmonton, it's an uphill battle, but they do have one of the best players in the world who's looking to get that last trophy. He's got literally, I think, every single regular season trophy to this point. He just has to get that last one, which, is Lord Stanley, because he's got 5 scoring titles, 3 Hart trophies, league MVP, 4-time NHLPA most outstanding player. And I bet he would give all those up for one chance to hoist Lord Stanley. So,
and they didn't care about the curse too. They touched the trophy after winning it.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they win the conference trophy, won't touch it because that's not the one you want.
The Panthers haven't done it 2 years in a row.
Yeah, the Avs did when they won it, but Sakic just told me, he's like, just touch the fucking He's just like, who cares? So that one's starting tomorrow night. I believe it's 6 o'clock. TNT or
True TV,
TBS, or
Yep.
Any number of places.
We were using Max to watch a lot of the NBA playoffs.
Oh yeah, It is a little bit more of a.
Well, TNT would kind of have glitches sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's more of like what's the word? It just works better. It's a better streaming service. There's a word I'm looking for I can't think of right now, but it is what it is. What do you want to talk about right now? We got 4 minutes.
Let's go to the PGA. This won't take too long.
PGA.
Scheffler's on fire.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, Paul. Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Yeah, Scheffler wins again, and golf's got a little bit of problem, and it's Scheffler. Yeah. Because he just keeps winning. Nobody can really compete with him, and after the split from Liv, they've lost a lot of the guys that can compete with him on the regular. I mean, outside of the the majors, when they can compete, these regular tournaments just aren't cutting it in terms of getting Scotty what he needs.
Yeah, I think I saw this crazy stat that was like wins in May, and it was Scheffler that had 3.
And the Rockies had 3.
And the Rockies had 3 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty nuts. And Scheffler, they only obviously have a tournament once a week.
I think the Nuggets and the
a
Rockies, since their season started, they're 10-10.
Yeah.
And Scheffler goes to show you that just because you win $4 million at a golf tournament does not mean that your wife's not going to hand you a baby that's shit up its whole back.
Seriously, dude. What? Like, why don't you can't clean the baby first before you hand it?
I mean, dude, if it happened, what are you gonna do? You're out there watching, last hole, baby just right up his back.
Wow, man. I saw that.
Poop stain.
It's such a funny post. It's like, doesn't matter if you just win this tournament, you're still gonna get handed.
Doesn't matter what you do.
She's like, it's your turn.
Yeah, I've been watching this baby all weekend. Take him.
Your turn.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny.
That was great.
Other news, Masters tickets are rising from $140 to $160 for a day pass. They're trying to combat the secondary market. Apparently making them more expensive is somehow going to make them not be more expensive on the secondary market. Not exactly sure how that's going to work, but that's the plan. In other news, Max Homa, I don't know if you saw this. He was trying to qualify for the U.S. Open this weekend. Had to carry his own bag for 38 holes as he fired his caddy, and he didn't want to talk about it, but he was stuck carrying his own bag, and he had no help on any of his shots.
I
And,
bet he was exhausted.
he missed the cut, so he will not be in the U.S. Open. So bummer for him. But yeah, so moving on, we should have Eric joining us here shortly.
Very cool. We're going to talk about some Packers.
The Packers. So yeah, we're definitely interested to talk to a Packers guy. We have been trying to get one for a while.
For quite
now.
some time, pretty much ever since, we started trying to get these guests on. We wanted to, once we started to like try to branch off and get these different teams, we've been reaching out to different Packers and never really had much luck.
Yeah, they are a quiet group.
They're just like holed up there around Green Bay, but luckily, Eric was willing to.
Eric's gonna hop on here with us, and we're excited to hear about what they've got going on this year. I think a lot of them are finally happy with some of their draft decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is a little bit jealous of Jordan Love.
Oh yeah,
but,
you guys drafted a first round wide receiver.
Guys, you guys got an offensive weapon?
Come on,
you guys are ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, man.
It's gonna be funny if they try to run the tush push. That's for sure, though.
Oh yeah, they probably will. I think they should, like, once a game, just line up and run it.
Yeah, they did not do very well last year. It was hilarious where Jordan Love like went at the wrong time and he like ran into him, almost had a butt fumble. Boy, doesn't
franchise.
The Eagles make it
They do make it look pretty easy.
They sure do.
Even without the Kelsey man there in the middle.
Oh yeah, they can make it happen.
All right.
Well, if you want, we can talk about a little baseball until he comes on.
Yeah, let's do it. I know as soon as I hit this, he's probably going to hop on,
Yep.
but...
Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason in his major league debut.
Gonna light your ass up, me.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering.
Yes.
Just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside. Yes, so baseball's happening. The Rockies, like I said, have won their 10th game now, 10-50. Still on pace to be the worst team ever in baseball.
Pretty cool, though. They got the double digits. I mean, they should really pat themselves on the back.
They should. They really should.
Maybe that's why I chose purple tonight.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, look at that.
I don't know.
A little Rockies purple. Well, speaking of the Royals, though, it looks like they've called up somebody, and I like the name.
Yeah, Jack Caglione. I've been very interested in this one. Yeah, very Italian name.
He's been raking, though, I've heard.
Yes. I think I've got it saved on my phone actually, but he was basically batting like 383 in the minors, their farm club in Omaha. There, I think like last week he had like 4 homers in 5 games. He's considered like the top prospect in the farm club baseball. And they've been basically just like waiting to call him up, and they finally have, and he makes his debut tonight against the Cardinals. I am excited to see what happens because Bobby Witt needs some help in that lineup. He needs to get a little
backup, yeah. He needs someone. They need to call up the reinforcements.
That's right, but yeah, kid's a good prospect, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
So yeah, he was the 6th overall pick of the 2024 amateur draft. Yeah, so he is batting 6th, and like you said, in the Kansas City Royals lineup as designated hitter, facing St. Louis Cardinals. He's hit .319 with 9 home runs, 43 RBIs, and 38 games in AAA. So yeah, he is. It's about time. You got to call him up.
Yeah, there was a lot of critics that thought they didn't. If what they should have done was kind of like wait, because then since they already called him up, if he does really succeed, then he's going to enter that arbitration where he can really ask for a lot of money.
Yeah.
But, they might try to do that. I hope the Royals do pay. I mean, it's like Patrick Mahomes is one of your owners. He's rich.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Use some of that damn money, dude. What are you doing? Come on now.
Yep.
In other news, the Dodgers take 2 of 3. Oh, I think Eric is joining us.
Nice. Hello. Can you hear us?
I don't know. Can you hear us, Eric? Possibly shortly.
Hello. Hello.
I think he can hear us.
We can't hear him.
Oh.
1 sec. Can you hear us now?
Oh.
Gentlemen, can you
There
hear
we
me?
go. Cool.
Right on.
What's
We
up,
weren't sure if you
Eric?
could hear us because you're out there like in the forest, man.
Yeah, I should probably switch that back.
No,
Oh,
I
it's
like
cool,
it,
man.
Yeah.
Very Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's covering on my. So I do another podcast about my hometown.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Cool.
in,
Nice.
from northern Wisconsin. So that's kind of the background for that. But nice, dude. Nice little Fringe Fanatics. Thanks, guys.
Oh, hey, no
We
worries,
appreciate
man.
you coming on.
Hell yeah. Let's talk, dude. I'm excited. It's
Yeah,
great
let's
to
do
meet
it.
you guys. Who's who here?
I am Chris Zane. I'm the Broncos
Chris.
fan. You can see most of the
Right
Broncos
on.
stuff
Yeah.
over here.
And I'm Chad
Nice to meet
Lee,
you.
the Chiefs fan.
Boo.
I believe we were on at the same time for the draft with the Philly guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was on
Yeah.
at the beginning of yours, possibly. I'm not sure. But yes, thank you for joining us, man. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks for taking time out of your night. Give us a little background on you. How did you get started podcasting, doing the Acme Army stuff? How'd all that begin?
Man, you know, it's a sweet story that I really enjoy. It's essentially COVID hit, and I'm in Philadelphia right now. We moved out here. I'm from northern Wisconsin, and I used to talk with my buddy Eric, my other buddy Eric, and we talked every single day, guys. It would be 2-3 phone calls every day, off season, on season, regardless. And always talking about the Packers. And I was like, listen, man, we've been talking about this for years, you know.
It sounds very familiar.
Why don't we just it's COVID right now. Why don't we just start a podcast? And he's like, hey man, if you can make it work, let's do it. So we started off, we ran 240 episodes of Acme Army, and then life gets in the way and all kinds of things happen. So it's great to be able to stay in touch with a lot of the old guests and podcasts that I had on the show, to still stay engaged in, Packer community, because I'm alone out here in Philadelphia. And every time I jump into the elevator, I'm always, my Wisconsin hat is on usually, 99% of the time. Other than that, it's a Packers hat on. And I have, 3 Packers sweatpants that I wear in rotation that I've had since literally 1999. So I mean, I am just a slobby Packer fan living out here in Philadelphia in enemy territory. Just middle fingers in the air.
Yeah,
there you go.
So, but,
Hey,
yeah.
I live out here in Denver, and I consider it, back in medieval times, you had to have that like spy, someone to go undercover. So that's what we are,
Well, there's so many transplants here now. There's more Kansas City Chiefs fans out here than I'd like. So.
We're taking over.
They're moving in from all directions. So,
Well,
Yeah.
we had a very similar start too. I mean,
Yeah.
our girlfriends got tired of seeing us send long text messages to each other about sports, and they thought we were cheating on them. And no,
Who
we're
you
just
cheating on me with?
yeah, no,
What are you
Chad,
doing, Chris? Chad, what are you doing?
we're just talking about the Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets lost, and we're mad about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I have converted him to a few Colorado sports teams, the Nuggets and the Avalanche, but we still are,
Oh yeah,
dead set on our hatred in the NFL of each other's teams.
always.
That's rare because you're not going to find many Packer fans that are friends with Vikings fans.
That's-
or
yeah,
I bet.
especially Bears fans,
Yep.
that are doing podcasts together. One of the things about Minnesota, I lived in Minneapolis for almost 10 years. And, they would always talk all kinds of smack about the Green Bay Packers. And literally, they couldn't name 5 players on their own team. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, I
what are
believe
you
it.
doing in your corporate tie right now, talking shit with me? I live and breathe this stuff. And I know more players on your team and statistically than you do. So the conversation's over.
And that's
Yeah,
bad when that
pretty
happens.
much.
Yeah. Well, we brought you on to talk about your Packers. I'm dying to know, man. You guys had a great draft. I bet Aaron Rodgers is pissed because you guys finally went out and got a first-round wide receiver for the first time since 2002.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, you had 2 big holes to fill, edge and wide receiver, and you doubled up on both of them.
Yeah, I think the edge takes were a little too late for some people's likings. And I think, it was kind of a mixed bag with Matthew Golden. Everybody wanted a receiver and everybody wanted McMillan or they wanted, Ibuka, which I totally understand. I wanted Ibuka. I loved him. But you get into that. So, I mean, I'm 50 years old. So when you're talking about Green Bay Packers and living and growing up with them and the the draft and develop philosophy, I'm 100% behind getting the best player available and never reaching for a wide receiver. Because Aaron Rodgers, God bless, he's not on the team anymore. Because and I say that with all respect and love, because he gave Packers fans, myself, so many great memories.
Yeah.
The problem was the last 2 years that he was there was feeling like the rerun of Brett Favre's kind of exit out the door. And his demonstrative on-field antics to receivers, and especially when we had rookies, it was like, man, what are you doing? That's not what leaders do. You don't bring down a group.
Yeah.
Like I coach girls volleyball. You talk about 12, 13-year-old girls, you say the wrong thing to them,
They shut down on you.
they shut down. You strip them of all their confidence. Like, you can't be a leader in that position and do that with young guys that only have, 17 opportunities to show what they're worth, throughout a season. So, and besides that, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, second round picks are, in Packers history, they're going to be in the Ring of Fame. I mean, you have legit unbelievable receivers, and that's not even including Randall Cobb, who's in there as another second rounder, who is, everybody who is drafting first round receivers right now wish they could have somebody that talented. So I mean, that whole gripe about it is a little ridiculous. Now, to switch to Matthew Golden, why we're so happy about that is because, number one, it was an area of need, right? We had the devastating loss of Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams from that Aaron Rodgers era of offensive weapons. And when we got Josh Jacobs and we drafted Marshawn Lloyd, and we all saw him last season as this got a great change of pace back, but he was injured all season. So now it's like this year we have like this extra draft pick on the offensive side as well, because we have historically just been loading up first round picks on our defensive line over and over, linebackers over. It just seems like we're loaded out on first round picks on our defensive side of the ball. And for us to take a skill position this year, and especially for it to be in Green Bay, guys, that draft, I don't care what anybody says. When you guys have a draft in your town, it's going to be unbelievable for your home crowd. But for us, being that it was 2020 or 2002 when we drafted Javon Walker. That's such a drought of having a skill player and somebody as exciting as Matthew Golden is, because I mean his stats weren't huge for the year in Texas. I mean, you're 853 yards or whatever. It's what you saw in those big games where he was the focal point, and you go, oh boy, I mean, Jordan Love needs somebody, number one, that can catch the ball, that can run crisp routes. But that can kind of take the top off, because Christian Watson's lost for us. Everybody will say, and if you go to Tazim, is Christian Watson's dad, his Twitter feed is just atrocious, because people just gang up on Christian Watson and say how fragile he is and how horrible he is because he started his career with a drop 80-yard touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers, and then got hurt. But the guy is still, he's second in touchdowns from his draft class, right? Romeo Doubs is the only one ahead of him. And the guy just does something for the team. When you look at our playoff games against Dallas and San Francisco 2 years ago in 2023, I mean, if it wasn't for Christian Watson taking the top off, you would not have 150-yard games from Romeo Doubs. You wouldn't have those underneath, plays. So the receiving core that we had is really strong. It's just injured. Concussions on Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, though that injury 2 years in a row really took a chunk out of, our playability later in the season.
And that did happen the last game of the year. So what is the outlook on Christian Watson? Is he, have they said anything in terms of he's ahead of schedule or not?
They say he's ahead of schedule. What does that mean to you guys?
I don't know.
Chris and Chad, if you guys had your number one receiver saying that he's ahead of, but he's coming off an ACL injury, that late in the season, like, you don't want him to rush back.
No, you want him to take his time.
And for us drafting Golden, it just seems like what a great opportunity to sit Christian Watson down, because, you have Dobbs and Watson coming up for contracts at the same time. Never a good thing.
No.
And so you can actually, bank Christian Watson if you put him on PUP and he doesn't play this year, then he's in, next year, year 3, right?
Yeah.
So that would contractually help us in the shuffle of getting contracts and getting players and giving him really an honest opportunity to show what a healthy Christian Watson can do for the team, because
You guys-
Matthew Golden can hold off a little bit.
I mean, yeah, and he's got that 4.29 speed. I mean, he's just a bullet down the field. You guys still got Dontavian Wicks, right?
I'm so glad you brought up Dontavian Wicks. I mean, so the first year he came out, it was OTAs, and we were like, "Who's this guy?" I was looking at highlights and going, "I like him. But by the third game, I said to my son, I said, "This guy right here, he could be the next Devontae Adams on the team. Big size, great hands, good after the catch, runability, and everything." Guys, Chad, Chris, I'm 50 years old. I have one throwback jersey, which is a Charles Woodson jersey.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he got me a Dontavian Wicks jersey.
Oh,
That's the
wow.
only other jersey that I have. So I got to knock on wood so that stays true. But I love Dontavian Wicks because he's we have such a mix of players, right?
Yeah.
You got Jaden Reed.
That's
Romeo
the other
Dobbs,
one. I was trying to think,
real
man.
consistent.
You guys got a
Jaden
wealth
Reed,
of riches there, you know?
It's ridiculous.
2 years ago, we had your old one, MVS, the Chiefs did.
Mhm.
We had what's his name that just got cut by? He was on the Giants a second ago. Kadarius Toney. I mean, we just had nobody for wide receivers. I mean, obviously we still had success and stuff, but I was so envious because last year it was so tough trying to pick in my daily fantasy leagues who to choose for the Packers of who would do well. Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson. I mean, it was like shooting, like you just didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, one game it might be Wicks, one game it might be Watson. One of them might get hurt. It's so tough to suit. But you guys did have a wealth of riches there. And so once everybody does get healthy, I mean, it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and that's what Matt LaFleur wants. He's big into this. When he came on, the illusion of complexity, right? Which requires a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of bubble screens.
Yeah.
And that's really what Jaden Reed came back and did for us, because we had a running back, Irvin, who was pretty good in the beginning, and we just didn't have somebody consistently to play that role in the offense. Jaden Reed comes in, can play the slot well, but those bubble screens are fantastic, which is a big asset to have a Savion Williams drafted in the third. Now, I thought that pick, like I was all for a defensive player, right? I was all for give me a Sawyer, give me a defensive end that's going to be a big body for us, because we need some pass rush, we need some run stop. But that kid, 6'4", 225, essentially running around right now. He's a monster on the OTA clips that I've been watching.
Oh yeah.
He gives that speed, that bubble screen. He did a lot of wildcat in college, which gives us another wrinkle to put out there. We're never going to have one of those receivers that's consistently, I mean, guys, it, 1,000-yard receiver right now is the same as 1,000-yard back. It's not that big of a thing. We're playing 17 games.
Yeah.
It's not
Now
like we got 100 yard every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be a little more impressive, but I'm fine having, 4 guys with 800 yards and some running backs with good chunks in there, and in our tight ends, which we haven't talked about yet, but we got young Travis Kelce on there. You got to see visions of him there, right?
Who's your tight end?
Tucker Kraft.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Tucker Kraft. He was a late pickup for
Yeah.
me in the fantasy league last year.
he's
It did pretty well.
Young Travis Kelce. I like that.
Young Kels.
Love him.
Yeah, that's
We
cool,
love
man.
him.
One pick though, we're gonna jump down. I think it's round 4. So I was trying to read up on you guys' picks, and I watched a lot of Texas games last year. I've always kind of been partial to them. Man, that Baron Sorrell, that guy led Texas in pressures last year. I feel like, and it's not like his stats really jump off, but he did have 28 reps of bench press at the combine. So even though he is an edge, he can play the inside. I think that's a good pickup.
He is the most exciting pick that we've had on defense in quite some time, because you're not under the pressure of a first round defensive player, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about having, the defense that Jeff Hafley started to implement last year lacked those guys that could come in and just be pass rushers, right? That could be a key relief that gave a different, can line up standing up on the end. Same with Colin Oliver. I mean, those two guys give us this fantastic ability to really mask where we're going to be blitzing, but can also stop the run. I mean, they got great bodies and they got great tackling.
Yeah.
But for Barron, like, imagine that being at the draft in Green Bay, staying the extra days. You flew up there on your own dime with your family up there, and Green Bay selects you in the 4th round.
That is pretty cool.
I heard about that. And I was like, wow, man, that was meant to be there.
I mean, it's beautiful. We're excited about having a big program defender that fell that far.
Yeah.
Because usually, I mean, when's the last time you don't see players like that fall that far?
No, I mean,
now without some sort of weird, off-field issues, or,
exactly,
something else.
Especially being the edge. I mean, those DNs, they're a high commodity because they're going to get paid so much, and so they're going to get drafted really high. And the fact that he fell to you guys, I think it says here, culminating with a 12.5 pressure rate last season. It's pretty damn good. That's what you need. I mean, it's not always just about the sacks. You just need to get somebody to bother the quarterback.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And we didn't get that from Lucas Van Ness. He was a 13th pick.
Yep.
Big guy out of Iowa. This is his 3rd year, banged up his hand last year. Hopefully that turns around, but we don't have that guy. We paid $100 million to Rashawn Gary. He made it to the Pro Bowl last year. Obviously, some people thought he was good, but Packers fans, we were looking at it, and he just didn't pass the eye test from what we were expecting for a $100 million guy to get.
Yeah.
We're blinded by Packers philosophy of pressures are as good as sacks. And I can see that, he's got a high motor, high knees, looks like he's going 1,000 miles an hour, and the pocket's collapsing a little bit. Problem is the quarterbacks in this day and age, your 2 quarterbacks that you guys got right now, they don't give a shit about what happens in the pocket. They got feet on them, and their eyes are constantly downfield. I mean, look at your freaking rookie Bo Nix.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped on him.
They are.
It's been a while.
I'm pretty nervous.
10 years of quarterback hell, but we got a good guy finally.
You made it through the Russell Wilson debacle. You know what I mean? Like that whole fleecing that your GM gave up for that issue, and you guys have come out of that faster than most teams do. Number one. And Bo Nix is an absolute stud. I mean, I remember him playing at Auburn and going, is this guy going to play in the NFL? And I remember I lost track of him going, where the hell is he? And he pops up
in Oregon.
Like, what just happened?
Playing like it's 80 games.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you mentioned it. Usually Green Bay does go pretty heavy on the defense, and they still did in the mid rounds. I mean, rounds 4 through 7. Round 7, they get cornerback Micah Robinson. Do you think he was kind of like just in case they can't figure it out, Jair Alexander going into this season?
Yeah.
No, it's camp bodies. We do a good job of drafting potential for camp.
Okay.
And right now, what people would look at the draft and go, hey, that must be the cover for Jair, right? We're past June 1st right now. Apparently, they're in some kind of, looking at that restructuring of the payments.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for. I love Jair. Guy just isn't healthy, and you can't have a team paying that kind of money for somebody that's not on the field.
Yep.
Flip side is, I don't want another player to leave Green Bay pissed off and talking smack about the front office like Campbell did and
it's still Gutekunst there, right?
Gutekunst?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love the philosophy. I mean, we are a draft and develop philosophy since Ron Wolf came into town in the 90s. And we always let people go before that 3rd contract. Problem is I mean, you got Jair, who's an all-pro 1 year, and in the last 66 games has played 33 games. So it's like, what are we doing here? We can't we know what he brings to the table, but a guy in the 7th round is not going to replace him. The guy that's going to replace him is our 7th rounder from last year, who was a potential 1st rounder the year before in Kalen King from Penn State. I mean, that guy is somebody that we have just been keeping big eyeballs on because he's got all that potential. And in some, I don't know if it was injuries, something happened. You don't really get the news, you just get the rumors.
Yeah.
But right now, so far, he's playing at a really high caliber, and it's in shorts. But you're talking about movement and understanding of the defense. A 7th round rookie after college and all the shit you got to go through from ramping up to the draft to getting into a new playbook to be able to translate that onto a field is tough for anybody to do, right? But now he's had another year in there, and the kid's got, he had first round potential in 2023. It's kind of like Rashid Walker out of Penn State as well. We got him in the 7th round the year before, and it's like this guy was at one time before his injury was a 1-2 round projection.
Yeah.
So it fell in our lap, and we got to take that. And we also got another guy. I'm scratching his first name. Michael Hayden, I think, is his name, out of Tennessee, who's just an absolute speed freak baller. Goes after the ball.
So you got some depth.
So love
there.
him. So we got some depth that
Nice.
we're excited about, but we don't want to lose Jair.
Yeah, it does sound like things have taken a positive turn, but I mean, you never know how those things can go. All it takes is one stalemate and things blow up. So
I think I heard that he's got like 700,000 in bonuses that he could get this year if he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, if he wants that money, it's there.
Oh,
yeah,
they all
Chris
want
and
the
Chad,
money.
if you're the GM of the Chiefs in the Broncos, what are you going to trade the Green Bay Packers for Jair Alexander?
Yeah,
It's tough, yeah, especially with the injury
Maybe
history.
a fourth.
Yeah, you're not going to get much back.
And what are you going to do when you trade us a fourth and you get him in your front office and he says,
I want to get paid. Yeah,
I want to get paid. How much are you going to pay him?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of doing that with the Nuggets right now, and all the guys they got try and get rid of that are problems more or less that nobody else really wants to deal with, and it's just like, yeah, how do you expect somebody to take your problem and give you something good in return?
Yeah. Well, hey, I got a question for you that's not so much related on this year's Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the Untold, the fall of Brett Favre?
I have not, but I can comment on it.
All right. I'm dying to know. Drama.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet either, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's I can't watch it right now. It was just last night on Netflix when it came up, after you watch a show and it's like,
yeah, this is recommended for you.
And I hear Jen Sturger, talking about how he ruined her life. Like that hits me in a point in my heart where I'm like, fuck, man. This,
that's
sorry, can I swear?
Yeah,
on
you
this? I don't
can.
need that.
You're good.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Because I grew up Brett Favre was in my peak football fan years. When you're 18 to 35 years old,
yeah,
like
peak fan.
You're an aggressive football fan.
Yeah.
I was an aggressive, and we had Brett Favre where it was like, hey man, all the lows we experienced with him, with so many interceptions over and over. We had so many highs, right?
Yeah.
The highs and the lows, it was like, hey man, at least we're riding Green Bay Packer, hype. We felt it every day. You were never out of the game with Brett Favre. That's like my hero.
Yeah.
I mean, when he retired the first time, I was living and working in Minneapolis, and my buddy that I worked with, he's from Wisconsin. He's like, we got to go to lunch, man. They just came out the news that he's going to retire today, and we went back to my apartment. We were both sitting there watching this guy talk about his retirement with tears in our eyes, like shit, we're never going to see this kind of thing again. Yeah. And then we have this unbelievable run with Aaron Rodgers, who, I mean, you throw a different kind of team around him, you have some different balls bounce a different way in Seattle, especially in the 49ers. Like, you're a guy if he has multiple Super Bowls, you're talking a top 3, quarterback all time right there.
Yeah.
His touchdown interception ratio. When are we going to see that
it's
again?
wild.
Yeah, it's insane.
You're not going to see that again.
Yeah.
But Brett Favre, it hurts me because he's done so much stupid shit.
Yeah.
And when you're in Wisconsin, and at that point in my age, like in northern Wisconsin, we would have the Green Bay Packers come up to because it's a tourist area. It's all lakes, right?
Yeah.
And my parents owned a marine business. So they sold boats. We serviced boats. We were out on people's lakes. And my dad had a customer who, I'll keep his name out, but he was into the dental implants, right?
Yeah.
And he had an 800-acre, block of land out. I don't want to mention the name or anything, but out west of Minocqua. And Brett Favre came up to this guy's place, right? And this is when this is 19, This is during the Super Bowl years, the MVP years
Yeah.
for him, right? When he was on Vicodin, but then he got off Vicodin. Right? So it was after he was off Vicodin and sober. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, hooray, all right, we got our hero back. He goes out to this guy's lake and they're filming a commercial, right? They want to film a little thing of like, Brett Favre catching a fish.
Yeah.
Well, they're sitting on the dock and he's in a boat and he just casts and he's reeling in and he hooks a muskie. A frickin' muskie. And I don't know if you guys know what muskies are, but people
Big
in
fish.
Wisconsin,
Yeah.
it's a big, gnarly, big too. It's the prize trophy fish you catch in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And you release them. But that was his first cast fishing right up there. Anyway, it's a bunch of the players, right? It's a bunch of the linemen as well with them. After that little filming thing is done, they're at this guy's house and they're drinking and partying. And Brett Favre is drinking. He's walking around with a bottle of wine. He
Nice.
says he drinks 2 bottles of wine at this party, and then he grabs one to go on the road. And it was like, and this guy was like, what the heck is going on? This was an older gentleman, he was my father's age at that time. But sure enough, he brings in the videotape of him catching the fish and all and so
Yeah.
I'm in the showroom of my father's boat store. We got a little TV with the VHS underneath, and he plugs in the tape, and we're watching for like 30 minutes. Brett Favre running around on this property, and all the crap.
That's awesome.
So I mean, he was like my freaking hero.
Yeah.
All I wanted
I
to do
totally
was
get
be
it.
Brett Favre,
Yeah.
So when you look at all these things of how he's sending dick pics out when he's got a gorgeous wife and kids, like I got kids. I
Going
can't
through breast
imagine-
cancer.
Yeah,
Tough.
yeah.
That was
like
it was
what a
tough.
shitty thing to do. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm divorced and I still don't send out dick pics. I mean, it's such a crazy thing. Like what would you do that for? You have kids, you have people that are gonna, I don't know.
Well, and
so
you're a
that's just
volleyball coach
shameful.
too. It's a good thing
Yeah.
you don't use charity funds for the volleyball court.
Right. Hey, my daughter's gonna be a D1 player. Let's raise these funds and I mean, it's just like, what are we thinking? What are we doing? Because you can't go from having Brett Favre on all these programs saying this is my 160 acre, house compound where I've made, $150 million plus endorsements in the NFL, and then you're stealing money or
Like
funneling
welfare
it some
stuff.
way.
Yeah.
like into a gym for your daughter. Like, oh, dude, just
It's
So I
a
have to
grounding
block
thing,
that
man.
out.
We look
to
up to
block
these athletes and these sports stars, and then stuff comes out, and you're like,
At the end
"Boy,
of the day, they're just
human.
as messed up as we
They're
are.
human.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And sometimes more messed up than
Yep.
we are.
I
Case
mean,
in point.
we watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. I mean, he's the greatest of all time, but he was a dick.
Yeah, at the end of it, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
I
takes
can't
that to
believe
win
you just said
sometimes.
that. How old are you?
I'm 38.
I'm 37.
You're 38 and 37.
Yep.
Those are great age. I got married at 38. For you to say that MJ's the best player is refreshing, because my 17-year-old son right now, he's such a LeBron.
Please don't say LeBron.
Yeah, he loves LeBron.
Oh
I mean,
my God.
his family's from Cleveland. He was born in Columbus, Ohio.
That
That's where he
makes
lived
sense.
before.
Yeah,
at least,
I get
So,
it.
I
at
mean-
least there's that, because all the people
Yeah.
who just put him on the pedestal, who
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
I saw a quote today that he made about Alex Caruso and said, "Yeah, I saw Alex Caruso's in there. Last year it was Kyrie. Pretty much every year in the finals, it's somebody that I helped build. I just want to throw my phone. It's just like, God, I hate this guy so much. Oh, he's awful. MJ all the way, man.
Yeah.
Kobe
Well,
said
and
it.
I love exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I love that he's had this great career and he's played this long, but you can't take away when somebody changes the game. You don't have LeBron without Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
After Michael Jordan, you guys remember Tracy McGrady. Everybody that was coming in was supposed to be
the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody from North Carolina was going to be the next Jordan. And Vince, oh gosh, man, just
Oh, all the dunks,
unbelievable.
man. Yeah.
But Kobe Bryant was the hardest worker. I mean, you look at the flops and everything else that LeBron's had this year, it turns you off as a fan, because you're like,
Yeah.
no, man, I want a dominator. I want somebody that's going to be, ferocious and not
Cutthroat.
flopping and begging the refs for a call versus what it was like when MJ was out there. Just,
Well,
Yeah.
even SGA now watching, we couldn't even watch the Western Conference Finals.
No.
It was hard to watch, just all the flopping and just how the games are called and whatnot. But
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is like LeBron did change the game for the worse because he's caused, like during his playoff run when he just was falling on the ground and got caught doing a little peeky thing. Did you call a foul yet?
Wasn't that awful?
Oh, it's awful,
that
man.
awful?
Yeah. Hopefully your 17-year-old would learn and
come around.
Yeah. Just have them rewatch The Last Dance over and over again.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'll ever break out of that mold because everybody.
It's just how you grow up. Yeah.
They think the most points and the most seasons. I mean, 22 seasons. And
imagine if Jordan played 22 seasons, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many points would he have?
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
The guy took a break to go play baseball and came back and just still won again.
Still
just
won. Came back and won 3 more.
Even though it's probably for gambling, but whatever.
With the same team, essentially, though.
Yeah.
And they got Rodman in there for the second three-peat, but listen, like those were what LeBron has done by.
That's such a good point.
Cleveland going to Miami, just following, like going where he can have the super team. He's changed NBA from the regards of now everybody's trying to have a super team,
and he's changed the CBA as well now because of that. They're trying to limit super teams, and now the tax and everything on them. And I mean, you look at what the Warriors are going to be spending in taxes this year, and the Celtics. Like,
the Celtics,
it's changing how teams are structured. But are you a Bucks fan?
I love the Bucks.
Nice. It's such a shame that with the whole thing with Giannis. I'm a big fan of Giannis, and so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely going to be leaving, and it is kind of a shame.
I don't think he's leaving.
You don't think so? Okay.
Why would you think he's leaving? Is it because of
there's a strong belief that he's just kind of tired of what's been going on with the organization? I guess
every time that I hear Giannis talk, I don't hear what the reporters are saying. Right? Like I see a guy that this is one of those guys that you love his values. I love that we got him as a skinny kid from Greece who was just, we didn't know what we had.
Yeah.
We just watched him become a absolute monster.
The Greek freak.
Yep.
Where he's respected as a top 3 player for the last 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last 6 years. In that conversation all the time, but he has, here's what I'll say. Long story short, if you leave Milwaukee and win a championship with somebody else, it's going to be a letdown because he's royalty in Wisconsin right now. And there's a value to being a Green Bay Packer, being a Milwaukee Buck who starts and stays with the franchise, where your life, your generations, your kids will be royalty forever.
You can never buy a drink.
Hey, that's why we can connect really well, because Denver, it's a very small sports thing. And we get just shredded in the national media. We win the finals and they talk about what the Lakers did wrong to beat us in the conference finals and everything. We never get the clout. And then the same thing with Jokic. Jokic came to another European player and has stayed here. We look at him, even his family, his brothers and everything is royalty. So I get it. And I would, that's what I'm saying. I would hope that Giannis would stay. I saw today that there's news of mutual interest between the Raptors and him. So
I read that one. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Who knows? It's all hearsay until something actually happens. But nobody saw, Luka leaving, and that blew up the NBA. Yep. So anything can happen.
Stupid ass Nico Harrison.
Yep. You're right.
Well, Eric, man, we greatly appreciate your time, man. We'll let you get out of here on that. It was great to get to chat with you. We'll have to.
Yeah, it's a great interview, man. We're gonna definitely have to have you on again.
Listen, Chad, Chris, number one, it was great meeting you guys over the draft.
Yes.
I love having conversations with guys, especially guys like you that have a real passion for your teams. And then you guys are able to connect with other teams and have a 3-way conversation. It's awesome. I hope your fans understand how cool and unique that is, because you guys run a great show, but you guys got great teams, and you guys always going to have great stories as this season goes on. Because you're both, you got one legendary team right now with the Kansas City Chiefs, but there's not a team, really a fan that is not looking at Denver right now and going, something is brewing out there, and that division,
No,
like
dude.
the NFC North, that AFC West, like you guys got a division right now
Yeah, it's
that we're
tough.
like, holy smokes, man, that is a conference we want to get behind and watch what's going to happen, because the teams are good, they're up and coming. Chargers and the Raiders, they're never going to be as good as you guys are right now, but
Let's hope
it's
not.
going to be exciting
Let's
to
hope
see
not,
what happens.
yeah. Your guys' division was nuts last year. I mean, you had like
Oh.
3 teams pretty much in the playoffs, and it was just like shocking. You know,
Yeah,
you don't see that
row.
very often. You know,
Fun football.
Yeah, it's good times,
Well,
man. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, man. This was a lot of fun. Anytime you need any Packer ranter on here,
We'll
guys
hit
are
you
always
up.
Yeah, same to you.
Yeah.
If you ever need to have us on for anything, let us know. We'll make it happen, man.
Awesome. The answer is always yes, guys.
Hell yeah, man.
Great, man. Have a
All
great
right.
night. We'll catch you
All right.
next time. Have a good one, man.
Cool.
All right,
Thanks a lot,
appreciate you
Eric.
guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye.
Bye.
Very cool, man.
All right. Hey,
That
we
was a
got
great
out there a
interview.
little smoother. Yeah, no, dude, that guy was cool. He was very I like how he said our names a lot. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but for some reason he's like, "Listen, Chad and Chris."
That was cool.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "I'm into this."
I can always converse with people that can easily put themselves in someone else's shoes. And, he talked
Yeah.
about being kind of like in our situations, or, just being able to, that's an easy way to relate.
Yeah.
It's just a very
And,
mature way of talking.
He had a good point too. I mean, through all of this, it's fun getting to meet all these people and have conversations and make connections.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
that's what
definitely,
we're gonna
man.
keep doing. So thank you to Eric Kleinschmidt. We greatly appreciate him hopping on.
Great.
If you need to find out anything about the Packers, make sure to go check out the Acme Army. I do like it because they got the old school retro
Yeah.
navy and gold.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
Good Twitter feed. Go check it out. Acme
Yes.
Army.
Acme Army. Make sure you check them out. As always, check out the Philly podcast as well, which is
Where
where
we
brought
found out
us
about
all
those
together.
guys. Good
Apparently,
dudes.
those guys are popping off. I don't know if you saw their Facebook stuff, but I guess they're blowing up on the social meds.
Really? I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so give them some more.
I did see where they were posting about Saquon getting the Madden cover. They were just like, of course it's Saquon. I was like,
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. Maybe that's why I haven't seen him. Still a little bitter.
Yeah, it's okay. It's the wound is almost healed.
We'll see.
Wait till the preseason starts. Maybe by then it'll be a scar. It's right now it's still bleeding
It's
a little
tough.
bit. Yeah, it's still a little scab.
Open wound.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. We're skipping music this week. We do have a band. Sick Things will be the band. We might have had them on before, but they had a new album come out, so we're gonna have them on.
Cool.
But they will be starting next week. But right now, let's get into the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. John Daly. He's about to grip it, rip it, and hit it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid
Do you think
Natural fact.
we could cover F1 and UFC in 10 minutes? You want?
Yeah, we could.
Let's do it, dude.
All right,
We'll
well,
put a pause on this just real quick.
Pause it real quick. All right. Rewind.
Yep, I got to talk about Mad Max and Fury Road, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've been dying to listen to this. I mean, it's great, man. We got time. It's all right.
All right, cool.
It's a great UFC of this weekend. We'll
get through it.
shove this in.
I'm not scared.
Cool.
Yeah, so Piastri wins again in the Spanish Grand Prix.
Fucking McLarens are just dominating.
They
Need
are.
flex wing. Don't even need it.
No,
They're fine.
Everybody's mad about the flex wing. I know Lewis Hamilton does not like. He says it's a waste of time and money.
Yeah,
But-
he's been whining about it a lot.
You know,
and
he
Ferrari's
can't,
been.
he can't get past sixth. I think he got fifth last week. But you know what? He's struggling.
Yeah, Leclerc's doing really well though.
Yes, he is. He gets third after Max Verstappen just loses it a little bit.
This was kind of crazy because most times I can always defend Max because he might have a little aggressive driving style or be kind of a dick,
Take some chances, you know.
but he was definitely guilty in this one, and he came out and apologized for it. But I did like his original statement when he was responding to George Russell. All right, let's give our viewers kind of a quick little rundown. Basically, the first, and because there's a lot of great memes about this. Ever
Yeah.
since I've started watching or like really following a lot more F1 pages, the Twitter page F1 Troll is great. It's almost like NFL hate memes.
Yeah,
It's a great comparison, honestly. So there was a good one where it's just like somebody sleeping. It's like lap 1, and you're just like, ah. And then it was lap 2 through 60. sleeping, just
Boring,
snooze
yeah.
fest. Nothing's going on, and that's what's nuts. Is I woke up, I set an alarm for 7 to watch it. I was too tired from the night before. I
Slept through
passed it out, woke up at lap 60.
Right when it happened.
Right when all that shit happened. So there was a safety car, and then right at the restart, Max Verstappen kind of has a little trouble. He almost like lost his life because his team, and I think that's where a lot of the frustration was laying on, is they kept him on these soft tires, or I think what was it, soft or hard? It was the wrong ones basically. And he could have.
Well, they put on hards because that was all they had left.
That's
and
what
he
it was.
Pissed. He's like, "Why did we just put on hards?" And they're like, "Sorry, Max, that's all we had." And he knew right away he was screwed because there was no chance he was going to be able to hold off the McLarens or even catch up to him for that matter. And yeah, he couldn't even hold off Russell. And Russell, they told him you got to let him pass,
and he was pissed about it. And so it was kind of weird because Leclerc kind of almost like hit him, and he kind of came from behind him when Leclerc passed him, and he got pissed about that. And then Russell comes through, and he thought Russell hit him. And then so when they told him to go ahead and let him through, he was like, all right, that's fine. And then he goes through and bumps Russell.
He didn't really bump him. I mean, Russell goes to go around the outside, and Max is just like, bah!
Yeah.
And
they're lucky it
right
wasn't worse.
Yeah.
And so he did receive a 10-second penalty that dropped him down to 10th, and which ended up costing him full over the weekend 9 points in the standings. And he now is 1 penalty point away from receiving a race ban. 2 points do expire. Two of his penalty points do expire June 30th because that is from the previous year.
Yeah, so I think he'll be okay. There's a lot of people saying he should have gotten a race ban for what he did, but I mean, I don't know. It wasn't. I think if he would have taken him out of the race, maybe.
For
but
sure.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely did drive right. He's just like, fuck you. Here's a funny meme. Speaking of F1 troll, Nico Hülkenberg has scored more points in that last race than Red Bull's second car in 2025.
Ain't that nuts?
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
Yeah, speaking of which, I mean, I think Nico Hülkenberg has to be the driver of the day, if you ask me.
And that's what's crazy is Verstappen was the driver of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Because the whole time, I mean, when they're voting for it, it's pretty much like the voting stops like right towards the end,
Yeah.
you know, and you know he was leading and voting because he was racing really well up till then. But I mean, his team kind of really screwed him, you know. And you look at Leclerc; he had a good strategy. You know, he just finished third, but still, you get good points out of that. He decided to not use his good tires for qualifying, and I think he ended up like qualifying like 4th or 5th, and then still had the good
the
tires.
were like had a little bit of wear on them, but he was able to put them back on.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was very interesting. Like we said, Hülkenberg probably should have gotten driver of the race, or you know, whatever you want to call it. But other news: Kimi Antonelli was doing really good, and then his car blew up for the second week in a row.
Mercedes.
He went into a turn, and all of a sudden, a puff of smoke, and he just drove into the gravel. And that's actually what kind of caused all of this commotion at the end of the race. Was Kimi going off, and that's why the safety car had to come out. And they were thinking, like, are they going to go all the way to the end on the safety car? Because it was at that point where it's
going
like,
for a while.
And then, yeah, everybody took that chance to go get new tires, and then Max got screwed, and then...
Yep. But, yeah,
look at the Mad Max.
Seriously, that's why I was like, for the possible title of the episode, I was going to do like Mad Max and Fury Road. But then you look at the Racing Bulls. I mean, and there's another meme I saw where I think Hadjar has been scoring over the last like 3 weeks more than...
I know, but the thing is, they'll bring him up, and then he'll do bad again. You know, that seems to have happened.
That's just it.
It was what's his name?
Yuki?
No, Lawrence.
Lawson.
Yeah, Lawson came up, and then he
finished
sucked,
11th.
and then Yuki came up, and then now he's sucking, and then we'll see.
But I don't know. It's crazy. This is like 3 weeks in a row. Hadjar's been doing pretty good.
Well, it's not a good look when the Racing Bulls finish ahead of one of the Oracle cars.
Not good. Not good at all.
Not a good thing. Yeah. I did hear something too that's a little I don't know if it's like conspiracy stuff, but
the Le Mans. Did you see that?
No, I don't know if that's what it is. This is about Max, and supposedly, I guess in his contract, if he's top 3 in the drivers' championship, he can't ask to leave. So they're thinking, like, what if he's just doing this to try and force his way out of Red Bull? So I don't know.
That is kind of nuts.
Conspiracy theory.
Okay, mine was even nuts, like even crazier, where there was a driver that isn't going to be able to do the Le Mans. And so what he was trying to do was cause his penalty points to get the race ban so that he could go race Le Mans.
Oh.
Yeah, because it like falls on this, like, I don't know. This. I can't
for
remember
Max?
exactly.
Like he wanted to go race Le
'cause
Mans?
we haven't really mentioned it. There was another race where he basically took the fake name as Franz Herman.
Oh,
yeah.
he did like
Franz Herman, yeah.
what's it called when you have a pseudonym? Is that when you're
Yeah,
a writer?
basically.
Yeah, you're a writer
but he had
and
to
you have
pick a
second-
fake name, and he said he wanted to pick the most German name possible. So that's what he did. It was like kind of like a race like Le Mans, but a little bit different. It
Yeah.
wasn't a full day race or anything, but I know he likes racing a lot, so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, the guy, all he does is like, it's either racing or he's doing like, he's sitting there doing simulating. So
Yeah. But the next one is in Canada. They are coming over to the Americas. It is the Pirelli Canadian GP on June 15th, so we got a couple weeks off. We just had the triple header, and you look at it now, Oscar Piastri's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races this year. It's just dominating, man.
yeah, he's pulling away in points. He's at 186. Lando Norris right behind him at 176. I do have a feeling it's going to be neck and neck with those guys coming down the pike there. Max Verstappen with that finish in 10th now, 137 points, sitting in third. George
that kinda
Russell
really killed him.
111 in fourth. Leclerc in fifth at 94.
Right.
But you go to the constructors, and it's not even.
It's not
it's
worth bringing up
McLaren.
this year, yeah.
362, and the next is Ferrari at 165. So
Wow.
McLaren, when you get constant podium finishes for both cars, it's pretty easy
It's
to win
1
the
and 2
constructors.
every
So,
single week.
yeah.
Yep.
So hats off to McLaren as they are pulling away this year, and everybody's just trying to keep up.
Yep, they're doing it right. Okay, let's hit
Indubitably.
UFC
UFC real quick.
Let's get it on, indeed. And Josie,
Jersey. We're going to Jersey. What's
Yep.
happening in Jersey, Chad?
UFC 316, Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili for the second time. And yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Obviously, Sean O'Malley. We talked about this fight last week with Farzin. I just finished UFC Countdown before I came up here. I don't know. I really want Sean O'Malley to win, but it's just the pace of Merab. He's just a total mauler. He's really changed up his life. I had heard that he like stopped smoking weed and he kind of like really changed up his lifestyle, got off social media, and during Countdown he kind of touches on that. Maybe that makes a difference, but someone like Merab, he's just an animal. I mean, he's a total dork, and I think that's like what works for him,
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like Sean O'Malley's kind of more the striker, obviously. He is good at grappling, but Merab is definitely going to be the one that's the significantly better grappler.
You know what I forgot about this? So the last time, and Farzin was asking about this, the last time they did fight was at the Sphere for the that UFC Noche.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that one. And I forgot about this, but he kind of had Merab really cornered and running away in that last little bit because he hit him with like a body shot.
Yeah.
And Merab was going like this, and he was looking up at the clock, just running away, trying to survive. And then he ended up getting like Sean down, and it just kind of ran out the clock. But like, it did kind of make you think. It was like, he was onto something there.
Yeah, work the body.
Yep.
Work
But
the body, kill the mind.
I'm hoping Sean wins, but my pick is, my brain lies with Merab.
It's a smart pick, and according to Vegas, is Merab as he as of right
Minus
now.
250.
Right now, it's minus 325.
Damn, it's gonna.
Well, as this is the AI overview, so he is the favorite to defeat Sean O'Malley. Juliana Pena is the underdog against Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison favored minus 600 for the women's bantamweight title.
Oh my God, minus 600.
Pena plus 440.
So Kayla Harrison is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I think she might have she gotten silver once and then gold the other time in Rio in judo.
Yeah.
And that's what Ronda Rousey was really known for. She's just so good at taking somebody down and throwing them. She's also just so strong. You just see her finishes. When they were having like a little banter back and forth at a press conference, I thought she really buried Juliana Pena when she was like, I have more. What was it? She was like, I've got more finishes than you've got wins in the UFC. It's like,
yeah,
dang.
that is.
But, yeah, it's
mic drop.
It is pretty nuts. But she did something is kind of nuts when I was watching Countdown. Juliana Pena brought in a judo coach that was the trainer for Kayla Harrison, this guy that was like her judo coach during the Olympics. So he knows Kayla Harrison really well.
He's
so
a traitor.
that's kind of, I know,
Damn
right?
turncoat,
Fucking
dude.
turncoat, man. It's like, wow, dude, you're just giving her all the secrets.
Judas.
Yeah. But Kayla Harrison trains an American Top Team, and
Yeah.
that's where Amanda Nunes is. And here's my prediction. I think Kayla Harrison goes through there. I think she'll finish Juliana Pena. And then I think Amanda Nunes comes out of retirement, and we see a super fight.
That'd be pretty cool.
Sunday.
kids get in free. There is a cool guy in the bantamweight. His name is Patchy Mix.
I don't know about this guy.
Versus Mario Batista. Patchy Mix, literally.
Mix, wow.
Patchy.
I don't know anything about
Last name Mix.
What else is
M-I-X.
on the card?
Middleweight Joe Pfeiffer.
Oh, yeah.
Kelvin Gastelum.
That's a good one.
Pfeiffer is favored 375. Patchy Mix is favored minus 165 over Mario Batista. And the welterweight, we got Kevin Holland versus Vicente
the
Luque.
mouth.
So Kevin Holland is favored in that one, minus 265.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this one. Definitely.
Yeah,
getting
so
this fight.
that's going to be Saturday. Is it a normal time?
Yep, 4 p.m. is when the prelims
Oh.
start. They that's what time they kind of like kick off getting the promos going and stuff. But the first fight really probably won't start till 4:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll start talking about
But-
it, and then walkouts will happen. So
Yep.
tune into that. You got to pay for it unless you're going to do it illegally. So however you do it, go make sure to watch that one, as that Sean O'Malley Merab fight should be a dang good one. But now it is that time again at the end of the show where the man, the myth, legend himself, John Daly, grips it, rips it, and hits it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man.
Far.
No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing.
Can't wait to see him in Happy Gilmore too. From that new
Yep.
trailer, it looks like he kind of has a little bigger part than I thought.
Okay.
So I'm pretty pumped, man.
That should be good. Yeah, I saw that Eminem is in there.
He plays
He's
the caddy.
Oh, he plays the caddy. I thought he was the guy.
no,
that
not the caddy.
jackass.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, you jackass.
You jackass.
When I saw it, I was like, dude, that's perfect, man. This movie's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah. So I think they announced the release date yesterday
July, I
at the
think, right?
Tudum. The Tudum. Did you see that on Netflix? It was like
I
their. I haven't watched, but
the
it was
Tudum,
like
but-
their award show or like announcement show. I have no idea.
really?
It was
Oh.
a live show. I think it was on Sunday, but
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
you know? Oh damn! I just closed the. Damn it! Close the story.
Oh, the
Yeah,
DDOE.
So let's get
All
into
right,
the
I
DDOE.
gotcha. All right, this DDOE isn't a sports star, but he is a hero regardless.
It's a little bit of a bummer one too, but
yeah,
also
but when someone
not really.
sacrifices themselves, that's what it's all about. I'm sure he would have done it over and over again if he could. That's probably a bad way to put that, but all right.
Yeah, I think he probably would have. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Manuel Pinzon.
77-year-old outdoorsman, father and grandfather, is now being described as a hero through and through after sacrificing his life to save his twin granddaughters from a fallen tree limb, his son-in-law told ABC News. The incident occurred on Wednesday when Pinzon's 8-year-old twin granddaughters were spending time at his home in, I thought that said Dacula,
Oh
Georgia.
yeah, I would have said that too. That is
Wow.
Dacula, Georgia. Did not know that was a place.
Dyslexia almost
Yeah.
jumped through there. According to Pinzon's son-in-law, Jason Krause, the granddaughters Issa and Gabby were exploring the 1 acre of forest behind the yard of Pinzon's home when they discovered a baby deer, Krause said. The twins ran back to Pinzon about the deer, to which he said they should eat lunch and then return to the deer to see if it was hurt or needed water, Krause said.
Oh, at approximately 12 p.m., Pinzon, the twins, and Pinzon's sister returned outside to check on the deer when the girls heard a loud crashing sound above them, Krause said. As soon as they heard that sound, they got pushed really hard from the side by him to the ground. When they turned back to their grandfather, the girls saw him lying on the ground that he had gotten hit by this big tree limb, which Krause estimates weighed between 60 to 75 pounds. The limb, which fell from at least 60 feet in the air, struck Pinzon, and he took the full brunt of that branch on his head, Krause said. Pinzon began to bleed out of his head and his nose, with one of the twins calling 911 and the other rushing inside the home to get their grandmother. One of the granddaughters followed the instructions of the 911 operator to put a rag on the back of Pinzon's head in an attempt to keep his head stable, but he continued to bleed and cough up blood. Once Krause and his wife, Andrea, were alerted to the incident, she headed to the hospital to be with her father, and Krause went to the house to be with their daughters. When he arrived at home, Krause said the twins were covered in blood and were in shock. Unfortunately, though, shortly after arriving at the hospital, Pinzon succumbed to his injuries and died on Wednesday afternoon.
Very traumatic. It is a very sad story, but I chose this one because, I mean, I don't think that's what a grandfather would try to do if he's got any type of like heroic family bone in his body.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, is protecting your young.
Well, and you've already, as the patriarch of the family, lived a long life,
Yep.
and you got to keep the youngins going. And unfortunately, in order to do so, he had to sacrifice his life. But now his two granddaughters will get to go on and live long, full lives thanks to his sacrifice. So hats off to Mr. Manuel Pinzon.
I'm glad we're honoring him, and I hope his family hears about this. And it's just, he deserves all the recognition in the world for performing a selfless act like that to save those kids. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely awesome. So hats off to you, Mr. Manuel. May you rest in peace.
Thank you,
And
sir.
you are the daily dose of excellence today.
John
so
Daly would certainly approve of those.
He definitely would.
Yes. But this was a great episode. Thank you again, Eric. That
Yeah.
was a hell of an interview.
Yeah, a really good interview. Good time as always, hanging out with each and every one of you. Thanks for joining us each week. We greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure to go like, share, subscribe. Social media. We will be back next week for episode 326. Do we have
326?
Oh,
136.
130.
136.
Chad almost said Dracula. I almost just created a new number.
We don't have a guest next week, but if you want to be a guest,
Get
hit us
at
up.
us. We might.
We
You
might
don't
just
know.
pitch up.
But we love all of you. Chadley, I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
We'll catch
See
you
you later,
later.
knuckleheads.
You knuckleheads.
All right. Was she vacuuming?